We just want to be dogs in the yard. Look at that sunrise, though. Pretty sick looking. Chat on all. Charlie has got to stand up to be as tall as Molly. But he's pretty sure he's as big as her. He's like, yeah, bite me, do it, yeah, bite me. I dare you. Yeah. It's freezing out here, but I'm having my coffee. So it's keeping me warm. Actually, I might turn around and put the sunrise behind me. Let's do that instead of a doghouse. Hold on. Hold. There. Much better. Now you guys can see the sunrise. You can see my dogs. Dude, I wonder how cold it is. Feels like high 40s. Oh, yeah. Charlie, is there a kitty cat out there? What's up, lazy worm? Mr. Funkadelic says, deport. Should we deport my dogs? I'm pretty sure the little one's illegal. Look at him. He's looking real illegal with his biting. Charlie, your deportation papers have come in. It's time to go. He's a criminal. That's right. He's been running a bunch of illegal gambling operations out here. A bunch of illegal landscaping operations out here. Then he was hiring a whole bunch of other illegal dogs. Don't worry, you guys. I got him in this nice fenced-in yard. It's pretty much a jail. Yeah. We don't have alligators circling the place. We just have grizzly bears. Charlie, come here. Come here. He's like, no, I want to bite Molly's face. Keep the brick wall. Charlie. just having the funnest time with each other. It's like they know. It's like they know they're on camera. Yep. Yeah, I found an underground tunnel going from Canada actually all the way to my yard. And it had plumbing, it had electrical, there was lights, a little mine cart in there, and it was loaded with dog treats. And dog toys. And fucking socks, actually. You got all my socks. Yeah. Yeah, man. All the left socks. All the socks we end up missing. Turns out it's an illegal dog operation. I think they just do this for my attention, you know, because if I go inside, they'll immediately stop. The poncho I'm wearing looks very deportational. Yeah, if I were to shave everything except for my mustache and walk around with this poncho on, I'd definitely get deported. They'd be like, look at this freaking illegal. Are you ready for the duel? I'm not. It's too cold out here. We gotta wait till high noon before I flip that poncho again. Dude, it's funny all the people bitching about the fucking cops doing their jobs. It's fun. I swear to God, it's like the government will create a whole bunch of problems and then they'll turn around and try to fix it. And then everybody's like, no, no. Like the whole immigration thing. This has been going on since like 2005 or something. Who knows? Maybe even before that. But I mean, if you were to go back and try to find a video, like the oldest video you could, about the smuggling tunnels on the Mexican border, it would probably be made in like 2010, you know, back when they were still talking about it. Back when we were finding their tunnels. And, you know, back in 2010, they were saying that there was somewhere between 10 to 15 million illegals in the country. And then you go forward another 10 years and they're like, oh yeah, there's about, you know, 10 to 15 million. Well, how? Because there's been that many for 10 years. Like, I'm pretty sure we're way, way, way past that number. You know, and then the fucking crime in DC, you got 11-year-olds. 11-year-olds running around with guns, robbing people. And all these Democrat-ran cities have done what? Oh, they've defunded their police. They're not reporting the real crime data. They're letting murderers bond out so that they can go murder again while on bond, which I think is fucking nuts. And so then they create all this rampant crime with all their stupid fuck ideas. And then when we got to actually address the problem and say, look, you guys have created a fucking situation here. We're going to have to take care of it. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys are taking care of it. I can't believe we're going to do something about this. I can't believe it. You know, you got people in DC
saying, there's no crime happening in D.C., and if these Trump fucking appointed cops want to do something about it, we're going to kill them. Like, they're literally calling for the deaths of the police and saying to go out there and kill the police while saying that there's nothing happening. No crime going on here. It's like, you know, during the Obama administration, the IRS was used against conservatives. It's pretty well known that he weaponized the IRS against conservatives. And, you know, you did hear some conservatives say that maybe they weren't going to pay their taxes, but we didn't not pay our taxes, wait for the IRS to show up and then get into gunfights with them. You know, we didn't fucking mass protest the IRS building or anything like that. But that's the loony left, you know. Pick a policy you don't like and fucking just target feds, you know. And then at the same time, still crying about January 6th because a couple of Capitol officers got hit in the head with shit. Still crying about that. But this whole last summer, we seen more federal agents getting beat up by the loony left than we ever saw on January 6th, and they don't give a fuck. You know, I don't like the Forest Service. I don't like their policies. I don't like that they even exist. I think it's fucking stupid. But I'm not going to go down to the Forest Service and start protesting and fucking destroying their trucks and, you know, being a problem. I'm not going to go out in the woods and be a problem for them at their job. You know, they're federal agents. I'm not going to fuck with them. I'm not going to go down to the post office and fuck with them. They're federal workers too. But Democrats don't give a fuck. You know, they're like, no, we're going to do whatever we want. And apparently they just get away with it. That's the real crazy thing. Like, if you're right-leaning and you get a couple of your friends together and start waving some flags, the feds show up and they fucking shut you down. They literally lock people up for that shit. But if you're left-leaning and you get together with your friends and start torching federal buildings and assaulting officers and this and that, you can fucking post it on the internet and no one gives a shit. Like, who went to jail over the whole Seattle fucking Chaz Chop thing? Who did? You know, there was like 4 people killed. They took over several streets of Seattle or like several blocks of Seattle and just held it down for like 6 weeks. You know? That's a real insurrection. Big balls. I got huge balls. So big that sometimes I sit on them by accident. It fucking hurts. Now then. What's up, Molly? Some good coffee, though. Got good coffee, good weed. It's looking like it's gonna be a good day. Just real good sunrise. My dog's all happy. Are you just a happy dog? Oh, look at Charlie's happy little dog. Oh, get up here. Get up here, Charles. Little Charlotte. Oh. We gotta talk about that illegal gambling operation, though. Yeah. What are you doing back there? Oh, you're not really an illegal. No. He's a good boy. Hey, don't be trying to get in my coffee, or I will deport your ass straight to the inside of the house. Well, that's not really deportation. Oh, Charlie. Oh, he's my buddy. He's my little buddy. Whoa, and he's gone. Back to playing with Molly. Or eating food. I don't know what they're doing over there. Oh, yeah. It is nice, though. Nice and cold. It's perfect poncho weather. Or Gamboa is what this thing is called. It's an alpaca wool Gamboa. If you must know. And it's pretty warm. Yeah. Almost wish I had a sweatshirt made out of it. I can almost turn it into one. I can tuck it into my shorts, but then I look retarded. There's a really bad fire just to the west of us, though, and it's been smoking us out pretty good the last couple days. I was out here yesterday getting a frickin' headache. Like, man, can't you guys burn some weed or something? God, it's just gotta be straight trees. That'd be awesome if there was a forest fire and it went through like this huge illegal grow up and then the fucking smoke hit the town and just got everybody high. That could be the start of a movie. Yeah. X in hunting survival. What's up, dude? How's the hunting? It's getting close to hunting season here, I guess. You know, we could go grouse hunting here in about 2 weeks. Here in Montana, we've got grouse, you know, and they're just like a high mountain chicken. They're running around, usually in the woods, but sometimes they'll come up onto the road and try to pick some rocks. You know, they need some rocks in their crops, or no, in their gizzards, so that they can help digest their food or whatever. So they'll be sometimes near the road, and they're just stupid. Like, you can hit them with your car, but you don't want to because you want to eat them. So you just pull over and shoot them in the head. And oftentimes, if you see one, there will be more than one, you know, off the road there. So you can get a couple of them, and it's amazing because they're so good. It's like it's the best chicken. When I was a kid, my dad and I got into a big group of them, big flock of grouse up on the mountainside. And we managed to get 7 in one little spot. Or I guess they're called a cubby of grouse. But either way, we got 7 of them, and we brought them home. My mom made chicken strips out of them, and I can still remember how good they were. I was like 13, 14 years old, and I can still remember the taste. Actually, you know, I can't really remember the exact flavor of it, but I can remember that it tasted different from any chicken I've ever had, but in a really good way. So good. Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm just chilling out here. What time is it? 7 a.m. It's 7:01 right now. Yeah. Just trying to grow this beard. It's super thick. Ow! It's really curly too. Like, I assure you, it's way longer than it looks. It's just so curly. I need like a beard straightener. I need to just be a referee for these freaking dogs because they're going at it. Yeah. So yeah, I was trying to play some Final Fantasy VII yesterday, and I got stuck at the calm skip, which is not really necessary, but you know, I've been kicking around the idea of speedrunning that game for a year or two now. So today, later here in a little bit, I'm gonna practice some skips. Try to become a real speedrunner. These two are getting rough. Thanks, Lisa McPizza. Oh, I'm trying to find where my dogs went. I'm just running around. Yeah, I can't remember. I think I just ordered it off of Amazon. I'll show you the whole thing. And then it's got like a fuzzy side and a not so fuzzy side. I like to wear it with the really fuzzy side in because then it's more comfy. You want to borrow it? Yeah, you can borrow it. Yeah, it's pretty nice back here. I've been doing stuff. I don't know. It's not that great, honestly. Like, it's a mess. You want to see? Like, I've got a lot of random bullshit in my yard. It's basically a dog yard, all right? But I put in this burn pit this spring, and then I bucketed gravel from a creek. Like, we've got a little bit of private property on a creek, and so I was able to get buckets of gravel, and it was like 20 bucket loads, and I started in early June when it was really cold. And then I've got my garden back here that I did absolutely nothing with this year, so it's just overgrown and messed up, and I hate looking at it. But next year I'll do something with it. I got my raspberry patch, which I am pretty proud of this. I put these bricks in, which are all but grown out now with grass. But that's fun. The grass is holding them in. But yeah, I put those bricks in, and then I put some different dirt in here, and then I had to fertilize to get my raspberries to grow. But look at this frickin' thing. Like, that thing's like 8 feet tall. I live in Montana, so next month in September, it's going to start getting really cold. I might be able to grow something, but yeah, I don't know. Probably not. And then my yard goes over this way. I've got an old boat. I've got an old chair that I desperately need to load that thing up into my truck and haul it to the dump. Look at that. Just look at that. Look at that. And I got an old lawnmower that died, and I don't know how to fix it, but I need to learn. What's up, Alex? I got another one, same fucking thing. An old bed that we just drug out here and put behind the garage, and now it's shit, and I'm gonna have to haul that off too. An old weed whacker that stopped working, and I don't know how to fix it as well. And I don't know what to do with it. Actually, I think I do know what happened to it now that I think about it, but move on. Burn it. Maybe. I live in Montana, dude. Look, I'll show you. It's pretty ugly back here. That's my house, though. I live at the White House. My neighbor lives at the Red House, and the Blue House, and the Brown House. Charlie's like, what are you doing? These guys are following me around like I'm the only thing that matters. And I am to them. Yeah. What did I do? You have a cat named Charlie? That's cool. I have a cat named Ted Danson and another one named Mink. Let's see if we can find them. They like to stay out of the backyard. Kevin, I'm very old. Stay in the yard, you little shits. I'm gonna keep my dogs in the yard. Oh, there goes Ted right there. Ted Danson. What are you doing, Ted Danson? Hey, shut up back there. Shut up back there, will you? What's up, Ted? Come here. Come here. Come here, Ted Danson. Come here. Oh, there's the mink. The minksters comes to see me. Yeah. Come on, ladies. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here, ladies. Come on. Come on. Come on, you old bastard. He's old and he's real sketchy. Doesn't trust nobody. Come on, Ted Danson. You're okay. Come here. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Stupid doggies ain't gonna get you. Come here. Yeah, come on. Oh, he's a big old kitty cat. Oh, look at this big old kitty cat. Oh, big old kitty cat. There's a little bird on the side. Yeah. Yeah, kitty. Charlie, settle down. You little fucker. You know that they're stupid. You love biting me. It's a good kitty. All right.
Neighbors coming in. Walk back here. I like my little skull in the middle of my nose, but my middle of my nose is not really the middle of my face because it's kind of bopped over to the side. Look at my woodshed, you guys. That's about as empty as I've ever seen it. I gotta get some wood. I have to go cut some wood. I have to cut down some trees. There's one out here right now. You can kind of see it, that dead tree right there. Stick them way up. That's a good stick of firewood right there. But I'm in town, and I don't know if I can drop that. It's kind of in a weird spot.
All right, you two get away from the gate. You're not going after the kitties.
No, Charlie. Don't even try it. If you want the kitties, you can get their smell off my poncho, but you're not getting anywhere near them. No, I don't have a daughter named Lisa, dude. I don't know a Lisa. Actually, I really don't. I don't think I know anyone named Lisa. It's weird. Lisa McPizza. That sounds like somebody who actually has a pizza place. And I would probably go there. Because pizza is pretty much my favorite food. Yeah. Gotta have that pepperoni with some dehydrated strawberry slices, some bacon, and a little bit of maple syrup drizzle. That's the best pizza. Yeah. That was a good one. That was a real good one. Yeah. Got a little bit of that in a jar. I don't think I have any left in my grinder, though.
Oh, I do.
I never really know my grinder's status. Is it empty? Is it full? It's a quantum grinder. It's both until I look. Molly? What are you doing? Just being cute? You just being cute? Yeah. You're such a good girl. Yeah, oh. You're like, I could get right in your pocket. I got a little pocket on my shirt. Right here, a little shirt pocket. I bet you just fit right in my shirt pocket, wouldn't you? Yep. I'll put you in my shirt pocket. You peek your head and your little paws out, and then we go for a walk. Yeah. All 85 pounds of you. Like, she acts like she can do that. That's her overall attitude, is that she's just a little pocket dog, but she's huge. So she'll stand right on top of me sometimes, and it really hurts.
Charlie, are you being gnarly?
I call him Charlie the Gnarly, because he is. And Molly the Jolly, but she's not.
when I first became an adult, I became aware of the fact that I held my fists wrong. Like whenever I'd tighten a fist, I'd ball up my fist as tight as I possibly could, you know, and my hand would look something like that. And then when I'd hit something, I'd fucking hit it with like this part of my hand and just fuck myself up. But then I learned from watching some videos and you know, stuff like that, that the way like a boxer, they tape their hands and they practice on holding their hand as square as they can, right? Like when you make a fist, you want it to be a nice, even square. And then when you punch, you actually want most of the power to be delivered by these two knuckles right here. And you want to kind of line them up with these two bones in your arm as well. So when you hit something, you want it to be mostly on this side of your hand. And you can practice this, right? Like I worked at a place where we had all these concrete walls and I'd have to walk the hallways a lot. And so as I was walking the hallways, I would hold my fists nice and square. And then I would practice punching the walls as I would be walking down the halls. I'd just be sitting there, pop, 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 just punching the wall as I'd walk. And I did that for a couple of years. And it got to where my hands didn't really feel it anymore. And I really I trained my fists on how to actually punch, which, you know, that's what you got to do. Ugh. Do I have a hobby except for live streaming? Not really. I do some outdoorsy stuff here and there, but not anything that I would say is my exact hobby. It's pretty much gaming. I game off stream more than I stream. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Am I the guy that used to be a security guard at Walmart? No. No. Never worked at Walmart. I wouldn't be against it. You know, they've got good benefits, good retirement plan, 401ks, fucking investments and shit. When I was in the Marine Corps, I served with a guy that left Walmart as a manager to join the Marines, which was crazy because he was making 3 times as much money as we were. And he told us, you know, he's like, yeah, we get stock options, all this shit. And I was just like, what are you doing here, man? Go back to Walmart. I think he eventually did. You know, after he got out. But no, I worked at a jail. I worked at a jail in Texas, a big one, after I got out of the Marines. And that was where, you know, I'd have to walk the halls a lot. And they were pretty much all cinder blocks. There's a YouTuber that worked security at Walmart, and you look and sound exactly like him. Oh, good. Is his name Paul Blart? No, I'm just kidding. I've been told I look like a thumb, so I'm appreciating anything above that. Katanya Gail, that, if you got bullied on chat, it's an Indonesian name. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I was in the Marines from 2001 to 2005. Actually, I enlisted on 9/11 of all crazy-ass days. I just happened to be in the Butte, Montana MEP Center that morning trying to sign up for the Marine Corps. I was sitting in a lounge. Me and a couple other kids. There was a TV. It was on MTV, actually, and we were listening to a song that I didn't like. I can't remember what it was because I didn't even like it, but we were listening to a song that I didn't like, and I was sitting there thinking, man, I wish I could change the channel. But all the other kids in the room seemed like they actually liked the song, so I was like, yeah, fuck, I'm just going to sit here and wait for it to end, you know? And then all of a sudden, this fucking army guy comes running in the room, and he's like, change the channel. Something just happened in New York. And so one of the kids turned the channel on the TV, and, we were watching CNN back when it was actually news. And Well, maybe. Either way, fucking, we're sitting there watching it, and one of the towers is already burning, you know, and they were saying that there was this horrible aviation accident and all this stuff. And then while we were watching it, another plane flew in and hit the other building. And then pretty much like the MEP center where I was at went into lockdown because it's like a military installation or some shit, you know, and they were not sure what was going on. Like they honestly thought it was going to be nationwide sleeper cells popping up and taking out anybody that was DOD. So I, sitting there in the MEPS, I heard my recruiter call his wife and tell her to go outside and scrape all the Marine Corps stickers off of their personal vehicles because they didn't want to get targeted, or he didn't want her to get targeted. And you know, and everybody was freaking out. And like at the MEP center, there was probably like 50 people working from all the different branches of service, you know, and they're all working to enlist people into those different branches of service. Well, when all that happened, everybody was allowed to go home from the MEP center. And so all the branches of service, except for the Marine Corps, left the MEP center. So the Navy, the Army, the Coast Guard, the Air Force, they all left. All their personnel left. And it was just like 5 Marines that stayed at the MEP center here in Montana, and they said they were going to just continue to do their job because they had a job to do, and it was to get 3 of us that were trying to enlist in the Marine Corps that day fully processed in. So that's what they did, you know, and me and 2 other guys, 3 of us enlisted in the Marine Corps on 9/11 in the state of Montana, and that was it. There was no other people that joined the military in my state that day, and I know because I was there. I think there was probably, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of people that actually enlisted in the military that day, because I was in the mountain time zone, you know, and there was probably a lot of different MEPS centers, you know, in like the central and eastern time zones where they got this, where they got it done basically, you know. And so like a lot of those were probably actually, they probably got swore in and everything before the planes hit. So there probably was a lot of people that that joined that day. But there's probably a lot of people that say they did and they didn't as well, you know, because it's kind of weird. But either way, I did. And then, you know, I finished swearing in, doing all that stuff, and then you know, I wasn't headed to boot camp that day or anything. It was just my initial like enlistment date or whatever the fuck. So I'm like waiting to go to boot camp at that point, and then I lived like 8 hours drive from the MEP center, so my recruiter had to drive us back to, you know, where we lived. And the whole way back we were listening to the radio, and they were talking about pretty much us going to war. Yeah, they actually told us right then and there when it happened. Like before I stuck my hand in the air and swore in, this master sergeant said, "Look, the nature of your enlistment has totally changed. We're going to war, so I understand if you want to change your mind and back out of this." He told us all that. And all 3 of us, I was like, look, I didn't really even have a reason to join before this, but now I definitely do. You know, and I think it did that to a whole generation, because over the next couple of years, there was a lot of guys that went out and joined the military. I mean, even people like Pat Tillman left the fucking NFL to go serve, right? Like, it was a powerful thing. Which is why it's so fucking painful that it wasn't real, you know? But yeah, fucking... They got us. They got a lot of us, basically. What's up, Gid? Good morning, dude. How you doing, man? It's fucked up, you know. The guys that came home from Korea said that war was a racket, but no one listened to them. And really, not many people repeated that. You know, you didn't really hear about that, at least not when I was a kid. And then the Vietnam vets come back, you know, all fucked up from a war that they never understood, and no one did because it was bullshit. And I remember telling this guy, he was a friend of our family, and he had served in Vietnam as a Marine. And I told him I was joining the Marines, and I thought he'd be proud to know that I was gonna join the Marines too, right? Like, and he got this grave look on his face, and he was just like, "It is not what you think." And I was confused, you know, I didn't know what he meant. It took me pretty much through my entire enlistment and maybe a couple years after that to figure out what he meant. Like, you think you're joining the US military, and because of that, you're going to be serving in some, you know, justified, honorable way, and that there couldn't be anything evil associated with what you're going to do. Because I grew up watching G.I. Joe and shit. And so I thought we were the good guys, you know. And then you look back at it, and I start to see myself as like a stormtrooper, you know. And we just had no clue that that's what it was. And I think they do a really good job of fooling everybody. Like, all the civilians, people that don't serve, they have no clue about this shit. You know, they think it's exactly what we think when we go to join. Oh, it's great. We're going to be doing the right thing. And then you end up in Iraq, going village to village, just slaughtering people. You fucking come home and the media is like, "Oh yeah, it's all good over there, nothing happening." And everybody's like thanking you for your service, you know, telling you we got to kill them over there so we don't have to kill them over here, which ain't even true, because every person we kill over there just creates a whole fucking extended family and generational hate for this country. Like, we created more terrorism in Iraq than we ever destroyed. And what's really fucked up is there wasn't even anybody really there to fight us. And then the military industrial complex started bringing in foreign fighters. Like, late 2004, they started bringing in people from all over the world to come and fight us. And there was bounties on all of our heads. When I went back to Iraq in 2005, they told us that there was bounties on all of our heads over there. $5,000 if you were regular, and then up to 50,000 if you were like a sniper or a high-level officer or EOD or something important. So these dudes could get up to 50 grand for killing one of us. And where are they getting the money? Same place I was getting my paycheck. Yeah, but you can't, you know. The fucking money, you can't follow the money, because the money is coming from the people who actually make the money. They literally create the money, you know, so you can't track it. Not from them. Or, you know, all the stuff they do is done on private email servers in their basement that they fucking have wiped with fucking state-of-the-art technology, and then when they go before Congress to testify about it, they pretend like they don't even know what the fuck a computer is. That was the craziest shit through the Obama administration. Something would happen in the world, and Obama would say that he just heard about it because the news reported on it. Like we don't have fucking assets all over the world feeding back like live stream feeds straight to their little situation room where they're watching the shit in real time. No, no, we don't have none of that. Like, they just think that we're fucking stupid. First you get the money, then you get the woman, then you get the power. That's right, Lewis. But yeah, I've told this story a few times. You know, it's fucking all that shit. And I was watching the media lie about all of it. They covered for Bush, you know, and then Obama came along and said he was going to end the wars and he was going to make it all better, basically. He was going to change things, you know, and he really didn't. I hoped that he would. Like, I cried tears of joy, literal tears of joy when Obama got elected because I was happy that it happened. I felt like it showed that the U.S. had came a long ways with race relations, and you know, I also wanted a Democrat to get in there and reinvestigate 9/11. And had Obama done that and found out what really happened that day, I think you wouldn't have had a Republican elected ever again. But instead, Obama just went along with the whole thing. You know, it took him 3 years to end the war in Iraq, and then like 2 years after that, he did a troop surge into Afghanistan and just made that place 10 times worse. And then, you know, it just went from there. And you know, that's kind of when I started thinking that the both parties of the government were just working against us. And then Trump came along, and the same media apparatus that had been lying to my face for over 10 years and covering for all these shitty motherfuckers was all of a sudden lying about Trump. You know, you can ask Callie, Z Cartwoman here in chat. My first reaction when she was the one that told me that Trump was running for president. And I was just like, oh, he's going to use the office to enrich himself. He's just some businessman that only is interested in it to get rich. I said all the things that the left still says to this day on that first day, because I had no clue that Trump had ever previously had any interest in politics. I had no clue that he had ever talked about this shit. So because he was looking like a serious contender, I started looking into what he believed, you know, and I found the interview of him on the Oprah Winfrey show in like 1988 or some shit, where he was talking about, you know, how the middle class was suffering, how, you know, things just used to be a lot easier and better for all of us, and it just was going to shit, and the politicians were selling us all out. And this was back in the 80s, dude. And I'm just like, holy shit, this guy is really striking a chord here, because when I grew up, you know, I pretty much lived that experience. And then, you know, I was watching his speeches, his raw speeches, like his live fucking speech where he would talk, and it would be like 2 hours of him going off about all that shit, basically, how we're getting screwed around, how China's screwing us around, all these different countries, you know, we're just not getting good trade deals, all this stuff. And it's all making sense as far as, you know, why we're all struggling to get by now instead of just thriving like we were when I was a kid. And then I watched the news, the same news that had been lying about what was going on in Iraq and covering for Bush and covering for Obama. I watched the news that night, and they took Trump's 2 hours of talking, and they edited it and made it to where he said things that he didn't even say. You know, like one of the very first things was he said that we had a huge problem with MS-13 gang members coming in from Mexico, and that they were, a lot of them, rapists and murderers and traffickers and whatnot, right? Well, the media took that speech and they edited it to where it sounded like he said all Mexicans do that shit. And then for the rest of time, like even now, there's leftists that will regurgitate that. They'll say, oh yeah, Trump said all Mexicans are rapists and murderers. He didn't fucking say it. But the media edited his speech to make it look like he did. He should have been able to sue those motherfuckers straight out of existence for that. But the media is the government, so he couldn't, you know? And so they got to just sit there and gaslight us and lie, take all his speeches and misrepresent every fucking thing he said the whole time he was in office. Like 4 years straight. You know, and they're doing the same shit now. Everything he does is just this huge blow up, this huge out of context fucking, you know, just exaggerated response. Like Biden got swore in behind literal walls that they put up around the Capitol, and there was like 40,000 fucking troops there defending him when they put him in office. That to me was pretty fucking tyrannical and proof that they had stole the election, because they wouldn't need to fucking do that if they hadn't. But, you know, Trump takes the fucking Capitol Police and says, you know what, this District of Columbia, this federal fucking zone that we're living in, I'm going to go ahead and make you guys federal officers and have you actually enforce the laws around here, because we've got 11-year-olds running around robbing people. Yeah, Trump does that, and the left's just like, nope, we need to be out here killing these motherfuckers. Like, that's literally what they're doing. That's literally what they're doing. Helped supply a C-5 for 75 Rangers, watched it take off, then 9 the next day. The pilot was on TV. Not possibly, they lie. Yeah, it's fucked up, dude. The whole thing's fucked up. What's up, Pete? I see you. I didn't say anything to you, though, I don't think. Your dad was military and wouldn't let you guys join. Yeah, I won't let my kids join. I tell them my service was enough. Smokey is still sleeping. Good. We all got a good night's sleep, I think, or I did. Slept my arse off. Slept till 6 a.m. You found a huckleberry patch yesterday? It's insane, dude. I was dreaming last night that Callie and I were somewhere around town here in the woods in my dream, right? And we found a huckleberry patch where the huckleberries were like that big. In my dream, I was picking huckleberries and they were like just stupid big, you know? Yeah, she knows. What's up, Bodie? Bodie Bert? Or is it Bodie Birdie because you got 2 T's? I feel like I should say it as Birdie. Charlie is still trying to fuck with Molly. Look at this little bastard. Charlie, whose toy is that? Oh, I'm gonna get that.
You give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that.
Charlie, you give me. Oh, you give me that.
Give me that. Give me that. Give me that.
You're going there today? Nice. Callie won't let me get any more huckleberries because we've already got too much. She says, no. Just nursing road rash wounds. You dumped your dirt bike on the railroad tracks last night? Ouch. The railroad tracks are fucking awful, dude. Those rocks are chunky and gritty. That's like the worst place to land. You'd be better off falling on a bed of nails, maybe. That fucking sucks. I remember when I was a kid, I was heading up to school. It was like 7th or 8th grade. I can't remember which, but you know, I was in middle school, right? But I was headed up to school, and one of my friends was riding a bike to school. And I was crossing the highway in a crosswalk. He was 1 block up the street from me doing the exact same thing, but he was on a bicycle, right? And he must have seen me, and I saw him when I was looking down that way, and he went to ride a wheelie through the intersection, you know, through the crosswalk. And as soon as he popped that wheelie up, that front tire come right off. It just come off. And so he held the wheelie for about a second, but then he put it down and he just fucking died, basically. Well, he didn't, you know, but he was really hurt. It was funny as fuck. The bike was totaled. It was a magical moment. And I witnessed it. There was also a kid in my town whose initials were PP. And so we used to make fun of him, and we would call him PP Boner Donor. And we had a whole song about it where we would sing PP Boner Donor and just, you know, laugh at him and stuff. And he wasn't really that big of a guy, so he kind of got fucked with. You know, I was a year younger than him, and I was saying it one day. And then he fucking was riding down the street one day on a mountain bike, and he was kind of riding away from me, so I yelled it at him. I was like, PP Boner Donor, and he's like 50 yards away, right? Well, he fucking turns around and starts riding right at me on this bike. And I'm like, he's not gonna hit me, you know, he'll fuck his bike up. So I just kind of freeze and stand there, and he comes fucking riding right into me, dude, and just crashes right into me. And I fell straight on my back. The front tire of the bike came up my leg and then went up my pelvis and then over my shoulder. He rode right over me, like he ran me over with a mountain bike. And you know what? I deserved it. It sucked. Like a year later, he was trying to practice some skateboarding shit, and I think he kick-flipped his skateboard right into his front teeth and knocked one of them out. So I considered it payback. Yeah, he's a good dude. We gave him a lot of shit because his dad was a cop, you know. But he was a good dude. Yeah. Love from Turkey. What's up, Plamp Jump? Turkey's pretty cool, man. That's a really interesting part of the world. Yeah, it sucked getting ran over by the bike. There was another time my brother and I were fucking with each other while we were riding down the street, and we're both on mountain bikes. And I don't remember what I did to him to deserve it, but I probably did. But he reached over and he grabbed my handlebar and he yanked my handlebar, and it caused my front wheel to turn totally sideways, which caused me to fly over my handlebars. But then he swerved in front of me at the right moment so that I somehow landed back first on his back tire. So then I'm laying on my back on his back tire, and it's like sucking me into the frame of the bike, you know, like right behind the bike seat. So I'm like getting sucked into the bike, and it's just like, "Argh!" And my brother was not, you know, he wasn't, well, he was slowing down because of me. I was like a big brake, basically, but it took a second, and it hurt like hell. Yeah, bike wrecks are the worst. My brother had a bike that didn't have any brakes. It was just a little BMX bike. I don't know where he got it. You know, my dad gave it to him when we were little kids. And one day we lived out of town, but we lived up on this hillside, and it was like our house was at the top level. Then you had to go down the road and come down and around to like the lower middle level where my grandmother lived. And my grandmother came out on her porch, and she was like, "Boys," and she was hollering for my brother and I, right? Well, my brother hops on his bicycle and just takes off down the driveway fast, right? And I'm like, oh shit, he's going way too fast, because that thing did not have brakes. And he had a carrot stick in his mouth when he took off, right? We were both snacking on a carrot stick at that moment. Well, he goes to make the corner to hook around onto that lower level, and he did not make it. All I saw was this huge dust cloud, and then this carrot stick went flying straight in the air out of the dust. Like I couldn't see anything, and then this carrot came flying out of the dust. And he was fucked up. He got all hurt. He didn't break anything, I don't think, you know, but he was pretty scraped up. We were always getting hurt like that. Just getting scraped up. Getting fucked up. One of the worst things that ever happened to me when I was a kid was me and my brother were down at Callahan Creek. It's like this creek that runs through our hometown, and there was a couple of different swimming holes on it, but they weren't that big. But there was one that was kind of good, and it was right under the train trestle, right there, like kind of in town, kind of on the edge of town, right? And we would jump off the train trestle into this little swimming hole. But the problem was it wasn't really that deep, so you couldn't go off the top of the train trestle. So when we'd climb up there, we'd have to shimmy down. You could get like between the walls of the trestle and get underneath and then onto this frame thing, and then we could drop from the bottom of the trestle down into the creek. But the problem was there was all this weird grease, like this black shit all over the metal underneath there, and every time we went up there and jumped off, we were getting more and more of it on us, and it wasn't coming off in the water, and it was getting on our arms and our legs and shit, right? Well, we didn't really think much of it until we started to walk home. It was probably a good mile to the house, and probably I'd say about halfway there is when it started to happen. You know, we were basically dry at that point. And every time we were in the sun and the sun was directly on any part of our body where that oil or grease or whatever it was on us, it burned like hell. So bad that we were fucking crying, dude. And we were literally running home. So we would run until we found a patch of shade, and then we would sit in that shade and kind of like, you know, not suffer for a while. And we were just crying, man, because it hurt so fucking bad. And then we would have to run through the sun again, and it, oh my God. There were like the last bit getting to my house, you know, is kind of through the schoolyard and down this one street past all the tennis courts. There's not much shade in that last stretch, and oh my God, it was bad. We were getting chemical burned or something, you know. It was fucked. There was another time I was down at those tennis courts with my friend Blake, and he had his mom's tennis racket, which was this old wooden piece of shit, but you know, it was her racket, and so he wasn't supposed to break it. Well, then we went and played, and I wasn't even really good back then, but I beat him, and he got really mad, and then he smashed that racket on the court, and then he threw the racket onto the roof of this little building that was between the tennis courts. And we didn't know at the time, but the roof was made of fiberglass. It was like, it looked like corrugated metal, how it's all riffled, you know, but it was all fiberglass. Like it was that green, almost translucent paneling. And my buddy Blake was a lot bigger than me, actually. And so he was like, you know, I can't get up there. I'll break that roof, but I need my mom's tennis racket back. And so he offered to boost me up, and I would go up there and get the tennis racket down. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And because I didn't want to put my full weight on the roof either, I didn't stand up when I got up there. I literally stayed on my belly and just crawled up to the racket, and then I pretty much slid down to the bottom. And I immediately regretted my decisions because I started to die right then and there. Like I had fiberglass all in my arms and all in my legs, and there wasn't a goddamn thing anybody could do about it. It hurt and it sucked for a while. I did go home and try to take a shower and rinse it off, but it was bad, dude. It was so bad. Like if you've ever worked with insulation, you know, and you kind of dress up for it and wear a long sleeve shirt, but you still get a little bit of it on your wrist and it sucks, it's itchy and bullshit for the probably 2 days. It was like 10 million times that. Smokey. Come on. No, come on. You old girls out here. Okay, watch out, you little freaks. You're gonna trip me. Yeah, fiberglass sucks. It really sucks. Gideon's probably sleeping with a blanket of fiberglass. He's like, yeah, whatever. He's like, no, that's Levi's mom. All right, take it easy, Gid. Look like a mountain man from Red Dead in that poncho. Oh, yeah. I was going for more of like a monk. You got one of these at Fort Bragg? That's badass, dude. We just had poncho liners, which we would use as a blanket because they don't have a hole in the middle or anything. You know, you really can't use it with your poncho, or at least we didn't try. And then we didn't even have ponchos either. Like we did through SOI and shit, but then when we got to the fleet, they issued us Gore-Tex, you know, so we had like Gore-Tex jacket and Gore-Tex, it was like overalls, I think. Or maybe it was just pants. I think the whole thing might be inside out. See, it's on what might be the inside, I don't know. It looks like this, right? It's like a more smooth texture, and then on the other side, it's a lot more fuzzy. But I actually prefer the fuzzy side. Like it feels warmer, I guess. Maybe the fuzzy side's the warm side. I don't know. I don't think it really matters, but it does look inside out because the seam is on this side of the hood. But that's the only way you can tell. Well, and this thing too. Which this did have like a little lace, like a little tie-up thing, you know, where you could cinch it closed. But not anymore. I don't know what happened to it. Smokey. How's the old squirrel? The baby squirrel. How's your hips this morning? How's your old hips? Yeah? The old squirrel. Charlie, you're not a squirrel. Oh, Smokey the squirrel. She's my baby squirrel. Charlie, I'm busy. Hey. No fighting. Smokey's getting her massage. She's got to let everybody know, though. She's like, look at what's going on, you guys. Papa loves me. Which makes Molly really jealous. Smokey's just getting old, you know, and her hips are getting knotted, like her muscles in her hips and stuff. Your kids are fighting? Oh, good. Look at this little bastard. He's all dirty. Babe, why'd you let Charlie get all dirty again? Oh, the Charlie. All right, Bodie, have a good one, man. Yeah, I've got to get back to practicing some skips. Last night I was practicing the calm skip and the guard skip for FF7. And I plan on doing that today on stream all day. I'm just going to sit there and practice those two things over and 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 over? What were we talking about? Yeah. I got some, what strain is this in here? I can't fucking remember. That should be a name of a strain. I can't remember. It doesn't remember. It doesn't matter that I don't remember, I guess. It's indica, and it was like 26%. But it's real good. It's real good. It's maybe a little too good. Smokey, are you a bear? I don't know what the hell's going on. Molly just likes to herd Smokey around the yard. Like, watch her. She's just fucking with her the whole time. Hey, Molly, why don't you fuck off and leave Smokey alone? Molly, get over here. Lay down. You're in trouble. Quit being a bitch. You're not the alpha in this yard. I am. And I will bite you. I'll bite Smokey. I'll bite Charlie. I'll bite every last one of you. I'll bite you right on your lip. If you don't quit. Charlie, quit co-signing it. Everybody just chill out. You're gonna grab coffee? Roger. Yeah, she's being a bitch. She's being a real bitch. Well, I'm going to go, you guys, too, actually. My son is going to be leaving soon for college, and I don't want to just be on stream while he's getting ready. I need to be helping him and probably saying goodbye and stuff. So I'll see you guys later with some FF7 skips. I'm going to be zombie skipman all day. But yeah, have a good one, you guys. Have a good Friday morning.